The next exercise in Lesson 3 goes back to the single independent stroke. With the first single independent exercise we did, I put a placeholder at the beginning of the measure to keep your hands at the interval of a fifth. There's not a placeholder in this exercise, but I still want you to keep your hands at the interval of a fifth. Our primary focus for this exercise is to practice stepwise motion. The first time, you got to stay on one note over and over. Now what we're going to do is simply move from the F to the G over and over. The rotation is exactly the same as if you were staying on one note. You're going to move your arm to help facilitate that stepwise motion, just parallel to the instrument. Careful that you don't move the wrist independent from the elbow. You really want that elbow to continue bisecting the interval. If you leave your hand at the interval of a fifth, you'll be ready for the next note that you play. When I put my right hand into this exercise, it's the exact same motion when I start using mallet 3. It's a rotation that is facilitated by my arm moving to the next note. Again, the wrist is not working independently of the hand, nor is my elbow hugging my body to try and do the stepwise motion like this. You can start this exercise playing one measure at a time till you're comfortable. You basically play 8 repetitions of those 2 notes. Then you work your way down to 4 and then down to 2. But if you need to isolate each one of those measures separately, feel free to do so. As you put all of these measures together, you can then start moving up the keyboard. Once you've played the intervals of a fifth at F and C, you can then move on to G and D and so on. Remember, when you start to move up the keyboard, you need to keep your body centered behind those inner mallets. As you move up the keyboard, move parallel to the keyboard. Really resist that temptation to turn your torso or to move your hands independent from your body. Your torso really should stay behind those inner 2 mallets the whole way throughout this exercise. By now you may have noticed that I'm breaking down this technique and these steps in very small pieces. I think it's really important that you have a really solid foundation of technique before you jump into advanced literature. It's pretty common these days to pick a piece on YouTube that you've seen that you want to play, not knowing that it's far above your level. If you really work on these steps in this sequence and are really diligent with these slow metronome markings, working up to the highest ones that I have listed, you'll create a great foundation for yourself that will allow you to play some of that advanced literature in the future.